Good afternoon, everyone. New at 4, a Minnesota man is facing a felony first-degree burglary charge after a teen found him inside a Breckenridge home, apparently hiding from police. 29-year-old Caleb Willis of Campbell, Minnesota, was found in the bathroom of a home last Tuesday. According to documents, Willis had hid in a cornfield earlier in the day as police searched for him regarding a complaint. After being taken to a hospital for treatment, Willis was held on 4 warrants: burglary and trespassing. National and local backlash. The Fargo School Board is calling an emergency meeting to reevaluate their decision to stop saying the Pledge of Allegiance before meetings. The board decided earlier this month to stop saying the pledge. They said to better align with their diversity policies. Since then, the governor has spoken out about the issue, saying he's working on legislation to make the opportunity to say the pledge mandatory. A special board meeting is set for Thursday at the district boardroom. We'll continue to follow this evolving story. You can find updates on our website or your free VNL News app. A now viral social media post about an alleged attempted abduction has many in the valley on edge. Police say they're trying to get to the bottom of it. A woman claims she was followed for nearly 2 miles in West Fargo, and when she pulled into a friend's driveway, the vehicle ran into her car. The woman claims the person demanded her ID and the person told her to follow them down the road. West Fargo police confirm with Valley News Live that a report was taken for a hit and run, and the circumstances surrounding it are being investigated. Police say if you're being followed, never stop or pull over. Call 911 and dispatchers will direct you on the next steps. We may see some mixed weather in parts of the valley tonight. Meteorologist Nathan Hopper joins us now with a first look. Nathan?
Yeah, thanks, Stacy. Seeing some of that mixed weather right now from our Devil's Lake Home of Economy Skycam. Seeing some storm clouds there off in the distance, that nice flat anvil top that we're seeing from the Devil's Lake area. Some storms that we're seeing further off toward the south, but by and large, not looking too bad at this point across most of the region. Of course, where we are seeing some activity is near this low pressure system and along a cold front associated with that low pressure system as well. We're seeing this nice spin there. So of course, the closer we are to the center of this low pressure, the more spin our atmosphere will have. So we're watching very carefully this little front as it makes its way further and further south this evening for some storms to fire off along that. And with those storms, could see a spin up land spout type tornado, some wind and some hail in these storms as they're making their way from north to south. But right now we're just seeing some scattered development, you could call it that, there across Beltrami County, seeing some storms there in that area, and also just to the west of Mayville. That's in portions of Steele County, maybe Griggs County, seeing some development there as well, but just a little storm near Mayville. So of course we're watching these storms very carefully for you folks this evening. Temperatures out in this area in the low to mid 80s, so plenty of heat there for some of those storms to really feed off of. It is cooler across Minnesota. Bemidji, that rain cooled 67 degrees, 75 in Thief River Falls. Of course, we are watching for this evening that marginal risk. That's a level 1 out of 5 on the severe weather risk scale. Of course, hail and wind primary concerns, though a landspout type tornado, again, can't completely rule it out with the spin we have in the atmosphere. Of course, Stacy will break down that hour by hour with our storm chances tonight coming up here in a few minutes.
All right, thanks so much, Nathan. Starting Thursday, rideshare and cab services will use designated areas to pick up passengers downtown. Fargo police say crowds gather outside businesses at bar close and can make traffic in the area congested. Pickup locations will be found in several areas from 1st Avenue North to 6th Avenue North. They include authorized cab stands for marked cabs, as well as designated areas for rideshare and general passenger pickup from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. Thursday to Sunday. Vehicles must be legally parked, remain occupied, and have a 10-minute time limit in those pickup locations. Drivers found in violation of that ordinance will be charged a $20 fine. Riders can continue to be dropped off at any location at any time in the downtown area. Today, healthcare workers with the Minnesota Nurses Association voted overwhelmingly to authorize a strike. That's according to union organizers. The vote means union leaders can call a strike at any time, as long as they give employers at least a 10-day notice before a work stoppage can take place. The potential strike could impact operations and patient care at 15 hospitals from 7 health systems between the Twin Cities and Duluth. Mary Turner, president of the Minnesota Nurses Association, says the healthcare system in the U.S. is already in a crisis.
We are forced to do this because our profession is at risk. 51% of the nurses across the nation will potentially leave the bedside as of next year. That is a public health crisis.
Until a strike date is finalized, the union says they'll continue negotiations with hospitals in hopes of resolving their differences. Of more than 1 million Minnesotans who applied for the frontline worker bonus check last month, about 214,000 have been denied. The state says denials were due to meeting the unemployment benefits max, lack of essential employment, income level, or failure to verify identity. Minnesotans can appeal their decision until the end of this month. Payouts will be based on the final number of approved applications and could now amount to about $400 per person. That's quite a bit less than originally estimated. Today, President Biden is set to sign the Inflation Reduction Act into law. The White House says the bill will lower the cost of energy, prescription drugs, and other health care for American families, while hiking taxes on large corporations. In the coming weeks, the president will travel across the country to highlight how the bill will help the American people. Several media outlets have petitioned the court to unseal the affidavit, which was used as justification for the FBI search of former President Trump's home. A judge has set a hearing for Thursday to hear the case, but Trump wants it done sooner. Skylar Henry has details from Washington, D.C.
Former President Donald Trump wants to see the affidavit used to authorize a search warrant for his Florida home. The president wrote, "I call for the immediate release of the completely unredacted affidavit pertaining to this horrible and shocking break-in." The Department of Justice is fighting to keep the affidavit sealed. In court documents filed late Monday, prosecutors argued that making the affidavit public would cause significant and irreparable damage. The DOJ also says it would serve as a roadmap to the government's ongoing investigation and chill future cooperation by witnesses. Anger from Trump supporters over the search has led to a rise in threats against federal law enforcement. The FBI isn't taking those threats lightly, increasing security outside of the headquarters here in Washington. Authorities arrested 46-year-old Adam B., saying the Pennsylvania man threatened to kill FBI agents. Writing on the far-right social media site Gab, B's allegedly said, "You've declared war on us, and now it's open season on you." He's been charged with one count of threatening law enforcement. This follows an Ohio man who was killed last week after attempting to breach the FBI office in Cincinnati. An FBI and DHS joint bulletin issued last week noted calls for civil war and armed rebellion in online posts. Skylar Henry, CBS News, Washington.
The FBI agent investigating Adam B.'s online post alleges that B's wrote, quote, "My only goal is to kill more of them before I drop. I will not spend 1 second of my life in their custody." He has another court appearance on Thursday. Top Democrats are accusing Homeland Security's Inspector General of unlawfully obstructing their investigation into the January 6th attack at the Capitol. Inspector General Joseph Kafari has refused congressional requests for documents and staff testimony about deleted Secret Service communications. He told the House Oversight and Homeland Security committees that his office will not comply due to the ongoing criminal investigations. He's now at risk of facing a potential congressional subpoena. The Secret Service turned over a large number of records to the committee investigating the Capitol insurrection, but only one text message between agents. Turning now to the war in Ukraine, Putin is accusing the U.S. of dragging out the war as explosions hit deeper into Russian-controlled territory. CBS's Ian Lee has the latest on the conflict from London.
Massive explosions rock an ammunition depot deep inside the Russian-occupied Crimean Peninsula. Ukraine is stopping short of claiming responsibility, while Moscow calls the attack sabotage. On Tuesday, a frustrated Vladimir Putin lashed out at the U.S. for supplying weapons to Kyiv, saying, "The situation in Ukraine shows that the United States is trying to drag out this conflict." Just last week, multiple blasts shook a Russian airbase, destroying aircraft, fuel, and ammunition. Ukraine has hinted at its involvement in both attacks. If true, it demonstrates a new capability to strike deep into Russian-controlled territory. The fighting in Ukraine has turned into a war of attrition, with neither side making major significant gains. And there's fear Europe's largest nuclear power plant could become the next casualty. Russia is accused of using it as a military base.
Russia's military activity around the nuclear power plant is the height of irresponsibility.
Ukraine's president is calling on international powers to slap new sanctions on Moscow, saying their military action could lead to catastrophe. Experts warn if damaged, the nuclear plant could create a crisis on the scale of Japan's Fukushima disaster in the heart of Europe. Ian Lee, CBS News.
Russia's defense minister today downplayed the threat of nuclear war in Ukraine, suggesting that Moscow would use nuclear or chemical weapons in the fight are absolute lies. A monkeypox case in France appears to have spread from humans to a dog. Two men who live in the same household contracted the virus. About 2 weeks later, their dog, a 4-year-old Italian greyhound, started to have symptoms of monkeypox and tested positive. This is believed to be the first human-to-dog transmission of the virus.